Here we have brick rebate. So we've got a 120mm brick rebate that runs right to the end of the foundation and then cuts back across on a right angle to standard height. So basically weatherboards or standard cladding on this side. So you've got brick right to the corner and then back into standard cladding, standard height quickset. So what I've done is I've mocked some and cut that I can pull apart so I can give you all the exact measurements how to do it. The whole purpose is to use this molded rebate external corner. So as you can see here, you've got a nice transition, beautiful, everything looking good with all the aluminium, utilising this molded corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deconstruct it and then show you the measurements. That way you can go back to this video as you're making it to clarify the measurements, but exactly if you follow all the measurements, you'll end up with this. So first thing is it's going to pull these parts off. So essentially that's a standard height piece of quickset, 305. And then I've cut out a piece in the corner here. So essentially that's this outline here. So 196 mils up, 115 mils in is this. Now, if you jump over here, if you're using a 385 board, so a 300 pod system, then the measurement for here is 276 mils. Okay, so that's only for the 300 pod, the bigger foundation. If you're using the standard system, 196 up, 115 in, and then you end up with something like that. Then you shop around to the side, you've got to cut your 20 mils off here and 16 mils off insulation here. 20 mils so you can slide it into the joiner, and then 16 off here so that this rebate external corner sits on it. Now, I've also put a groove in here. It's got a bit of an overcut here, so when this basically comes down, this goes in like so. So the way I've done that is I've got a little bit of powder coating cap here. Essentially, the trick is take a piece a little bit longer. That's it here. Use your angle grinder, 40 mils, just take out a cut here, so cut down here, cut along here. So essentially that's what you're looking at. And then there's that little nub piece here, which I've just used the grinder and I've just cut it off, right? So the reason for that is you don't need to cut this groove all the way. So it can sit in the groove and it goes nice and flat. Now how I've done that groove is just a saw cut on the drop saw, which I'm going to show you. It's just 15 millimeters down to the lowest point. So I've just measured, I've used my square actually, set it for 15 millimeters, put a pencil line here, and then I've cut the top side of the pencil line. And the way that you do that is on the droppy, just put a block of wood on the droppy, just line up the saw cut number 4, and then essentially you're sitting it here, bring your blade down to that pencil line, and then don't overcut it, just cut a little bit past, putting in one groove, moving it over a couple of mils, and just widening that groove. And obviously it's down about 4 mils, a bit of a saw cut there. I'll come back over here, and then essentially that just squeezes in like so, and then so that 196 mils to here represents the same height as this board. That's how high that board is, 196 mils. So essentially what you're trying to do is line this up flush again, lift it up to the board, put your screw. Obviously you'd still have your bead MS glue in here, so always MS all the joins and all the junctions, that's important. I'm just not going to do it here for obvious reasons. Okay, the next step is this little cap that we've cut out, a little bit of MS on the back. And now you can see how it locks in, right? Nice and simple. I've just taken a corner for the standard height system, or you could use a bit of a brick corner and just cut it down to 100 mils. So it's 100 millimeters high. And essentially what this is, 115 millimeters long, 100 mils high, so it represents the same height as this. All this is a piece of this. I've just essentially snapped off, I've cut a bit of brick rebate 115 mils wide, snapped it off, cleaned it up with a saw. You've got a piece here. Okay, bead glue in this, bead glue in the back of that. Okay, and then you'll use little tiny Tech screws, a couple of screws in the back, a couple of screws in the back of that. That will lock it together. And then what you're left with is this nice junction. So that pushes back nice and flush. Essentially, if I lift that up to the camera, you can kind of see how it looks. So it's nice and clean. I know it is a little bit fiddly, but it's quite simple to do. All you need to do is follow the measurements, one step at a time, follow this video, and you've got yourself a nice corner.